In this video, we're gonna clean this bike up for the first time in who knows how long. It's pretty nasty, so I think a lot of the chrome and stainless stuff should really shine up nice. And also, Coker Tire reached out to us and sent us some casings. So we're gonna put some new casings on this thing, but you know what you have to do with the old ones first. Every time. Was that awesome or what?
Yeah.
Pretty good burnout, right?
Yeah.
I shifted it up. I don't know what gear I ended up in, but I was reaching down there and shifted it up into the next gear. But yeah, she probably left a mark on the floor. That was super fun. Oh man, look at all the rubber on the floor. Yeah, she's a little toasty. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Did you approve of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we filled her up with smoke. This shop just pretty much continuously now smells like a burnout.
Toasty.
She toasty? Toasty roasty? She's probably a little flatter than she used to be too.
Yeah.
Instead of round. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for all types of different categories like film, photography, business, animation, illustration, everything you can think of. And it's for anyone who loves learning. Anyone who knows me knows I love to learn new stuff. I constantly am trying to learn new stuff. So Skillshare is great for people who want to explore their creativity or take their skills to the next level in a certain thing like I did. Or if you're maybe wanting to start a new career, Skillshare is a great place to do that. One of the classes I personally took on Skillshare was the iPhone photography class with Dale McManus. And I learned a lot in that class on how to focus the camera better, how to use depth, how to use lighting and long exposures to get better quality photos for my social media like this right here. And if you click the link below, the first 1,000 people that use this link are going to get a free trial of Skillshare for a month. This is a great value. Skillshare also has no ads and they release new premium classes every week. So there's always something new to discover. And there's subtitles for people that don't speak English. You know, they have Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, whatever you speak. Did you get a mullet on them by yourself? How do you end up doing this stuff?
You look great.
It looks really good on you, Rocky. Aggressive look. Well, now that we've had our fun, and the smoke is cleared out of here, we're going to start going through these parts. So, like I said, we got the new casings from Coker Tire, and we're going to get them on there, and you can go to, here you go, here's your information, coker.com, there's their number and everything. So you can check them out. They sell all kinds of motorcycle casings for like everything from the oldest of the old ones all the way to newer motorcycles, so you can check them out. We've also, I bought some used parts and a little bit of new stuff. We got a new starter solenoid, side covers, a fender, some mirrors, and some other stuff in here we're going to get to put on the bike. So let's get started with this. These are called the Coker Classic. They make a couple different styles, but this is the one I picked. I thought it would be the most correct for the age of the bike, being a 71 model. So this is the back one, and says E70K on here. 3.25 by 18. Oh, Rocky's gonna open that stuff while I'm working on this. He's really good at opening packages. I just don't know whatever happens to the packages after him. Let's see what this one looks like. All right, so this has a 19-inch wheel. So this is a 3.5 by 19. We also have new tubes, and I think these are called the rim strips or bands or something. Now, Rocky, stop, no. And if you didn't know, Coker also sells, white walls and old vintage, different styles. So if you have an old car too, they're a great choice for that if you didn't already know that. This is a 14 millimeter, if you're wondering. What are you thinking about, Rocky? Huh? Watch out, Rocky. Hey, eat the wrenches, yeah. Okay. I guess we'll get to see what our brake shoes look like too while we're doing this. Well, there's plenty of life left in them. I'm going to pull this sprocket cover off here and check and see what gearing the front sprocket is. Our rear is a 39, and I think I'm going to switch to a 34, which is the highest gearing I can find for this, because it turns a lot of RPM, and I really want to be able to take this thing out on the interstate if I want to. You little booger. Okay, so that should allow us to take this cover off, I think. See what we have under here. We don't eat Allen wrenches. I'm just trying to figure out how to open the animal crackers. Apparently I'm going to have to take the exhaust off this thing to even get to that sprocket to see what it is. I love these little collars that hold the exhaust on there. I think have we got everything loose? This is a lot of work just to figure out what sprocket we have, and we don't even have a sprocket to put on it yet. 14, 15, 16. So we got a 16 tooth front sprocket, and we have a 39 tooth rear. So if you take the 39 tooth rear sprocket and the 16 tooth front and you divide the small number into the big number, this has a 243 gear ratio. And if I go to a 17 and a 34, that'll bump me up to a 200 gear ratio, which will make it harder to take off, but it'll give me a lot more highway speed. He's got the whole shifter thing in his mouth while I'm trying to install it.
Rocky.
I'll go ahead and change the front fender. Now I went with a used one. It's not perfect, but it's way better than the one I have. There you go. So as you can see, our old fender, pretty beat, super duper beat and broke right here. This one has a little bit of a rough spot, but it's on the back side towards the engine, so I think we'll be okay. Okay, we got our new to us fender on here. Looks like one of these bolts in here has been stripped out and re-drilled to a bigger size, because it had a 12 millimeter bolt in the back and 10 millimeters in the front. I've somehow lost my valve core tool, so we're trying to limp through this with a little tiny flat screwdriver. You can see there's quite a bit of rust in there, around the bead especially. Well, the wire brush wasn't enough, so I had to switch over to the little grinder. Now we're going to put our strips in here. And these keep the tube from getting poked by the end of the spokes. Well, after I spent, I don't know how long looking for my valve core tool, the cap off the Coker tubes has it. So I'm gonna put a little bit of air in these. We got some soapy water here. Here, spray it around that. We're gonna spray it around our casing. Ralphie's gonna work on that for us and around our rim just to get everything slicked up. Is this gonna be easy or hard, Ralphie? What do you think?
Probably hard.
Probably harder than it looks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now that we got that finally done, we're gonna try to sneak this tube in here and get it lined up with where it's supposed to go on the valve stem. All right, we finally wrestled that thing in there. Now we just gotta get this outer bead on here without pinching the tube. Here's the old casing we took off of it. You can probably see it's very cracked. It looked worse when it was aired up, but see, I didn't feel safe riding Ralphie around on that. I really need some pry bars that are made to put casings on, so I don't, these are really sharp edges. Ralphie, do you think it's possible that I'm not going to pinch this tube and have to replace it?
Maybe.
Do you have faith in me?
Maybe.
Man, it's getting tough over here. Oh, I hope I didn't hurt the tube. Okay, we got 32 PSI in it. We don't hear any leaks. Now, one thing we and Ralphie are worried about is it looks a little taller, and we're really hoping it doesn't hit our fender. So I've got this great idea to ratchet strap the forks up a little bit to give me more room with this brake and cable to get it back on. Okay, we got our drum back in there, put our axle shaft back in, bolt this thing down. We got a screwdriver through the end of the shaft on the other side. There we go. I'm just glad this thing wasn't too tall because we actually have plenty of room, but I was a little bit worried it looked so much taller than the other one. Got the correct tread pattern for the Era. Got the much better looking fender on there. Let's move on to something else now. So me and Ralphie ended up going to the Harbor Freight and getting some casing installer tools. And we noticed that one's like an inch shorter than the other one, even though they're supposed to be identical parts. But that way they have a rounded edge and maybe it won't mess up our tubes, right?
Yeah.
Now me and Rocky are going to take the back wheel off so we can change this casing out. This lever holds your rear brake drum in place to keep it from spinning. Yeah. This chain off here and we'll have it ready to come out, I believe. Just take that off. And drop it down out of my way. There you go. See, it wasn't that bad, Ralphie. Ralphie was convinced it was going to take forever. It looks like the brake shoes are in good shape there too, which I know they're like old. Are you licking the axle grease? Watch. What are you doing? Don't lick that. It's not good for you. All right, we'll take our valve core out. Ralphie, this is the actual wheel weights they use to balance it. They pinch them on the spoke. You ever seen that before?
No.
So you want to take these off because when you're changing your casings out, you got to rebalance everything. So we're just going to take that off. That one was a nightmare. I don't know if it's just I did a little bit different way than I did the first one, but man, that one was not fun. did that take? An hour? Boy, we spent an hour putting that thing on. I really hope I didn't pinch the tube. I think one time I may have got it. Rocky, tell me if there's a leak. I like the skinny casings on there. It's a little bit narrower than this is a 3.5 and this is a 3.25. But I kind of like it. I mean, this ain't no drag bike anyway, so I think it looks more, you know, correct for a little bike like this.
What are you gonna do with it?
Look at that. We got a loose sprocket here. Man, I wish I had my new sprocket. I haven't even ordered it yet though, so unfortunately we're gonna take this back off later, but it's not a huge deal. You would think these tabs would have stopped that, but looks like it only has one tab on each one being over, so maybe that just wasn't enough to keep it where it's supposed to be. Man, that one's super loose. Wow, that was super loose. Yeah, they all are loose. That's not good. Oh man, you're getting it cleaned up, ain't you?
Yeah. You guys think I'll clean this better?
Get in there, booger. Right, Ellie? You little booger? Kill him. So you got one of these adjusters on either side, and that's what puts tension on here. And you see these marks here, you have little marks to line up. So however much tension you put on this side, you gotta put an equal amount on the other side or your bike will not track straight. And you want about 1 inch of slack in your chain. It looks like 3.5 of them little marks is our secret recipe here for our wore out chain and wore out sprockets. We're gonna bolt our exhaust back up. I don't see any other reason why we need it off of here. We got everything done with that. Scares me a little bit to take these loose when I did, because exhaust bolts are bad to be stuck or, you know, messed up threads, but this one wasn't too bad.
You are such a
Sweet young lady. Almost every nut and bolt I've found on this deal is loose. So I probably should check this stuff before I rode it so fast. Okay guys, you can calm down now. I'm putting the nut on this thing that was missing. I didn't notice it until after I had made the first video. I was editing it. Thank you for pointing it out. Appreciate it. What are you doing? Are you stuck? Put her in 4 low. What in the world, Rocky, are you doing? Is that fun?
What are you doing?
We got the cheapest mirrors that eBay had. Let's put them on there and give it that very Japanese look. Don't eat the spark plug wires. That'll be about right. We'll have to adjust it when we're riding it, but that way we can see who we just outran at the red light. I got a 10mm 1.25 tap here because this had a plastic plug in it that had screwed up the threads when I tried to get it out. So I'll run the tap through it.
See the change.
All right. Whoa, look at that. So you got your steel wool and wire brush. Looks really good.
Still going though.
It's good. You did good. Now, me and Rocky are going to change out the starter solenoid because I'm hoping that's what's wrong with the electric start not working. Well, it looks to mount up the same way. The wires come out different and it's a little bit shorter, but that's just due to Advances in Modern Science. And now it's time for story time. So the background on why I like these Honda motorcycles so much is when I was a kid, two big things happened that made me like Hondas. One is my mom lived in a downtown area of town where I could ride my bicycle over to a Honda motorcycle dealership in Cookeville, Tennessee. And so I used to ride my bicycle to the Honda dealership. And of course I had no money at all. I couldn't buy anything. But I would go in there and look at the new motorcycles in the Honda dealership. And then also I had a family member give me a Honda Hobbit little moped that you had to pedal to start, a 50cc for free. And I worked on that thing with my neighbor. And one day we got it to start and run, and it just smoked like crazy because the motor was wore out. And those are my Honda stories. That's why I just kind of fell in love with these old Hondas. Well, let's see if my diagnosis was correct on the starter solenoid or not. Yeah, that's what it was. The solenoid was bad. So I tested it in the last video. We were getting a signal, a ground signal from the button. So I knew we had a signal there. The button was good. So $8, fixed it. Somebody tell me what the different positions are, because I know this is off and this is where the bike runs, but if you flip it here, the engine dies, and I don't know enough about motorcycles to know why that is. That's nice. Well, we've been working out here a long time today, and Jeopardy's about to come on. Me and Ralphie, you look like me standing up. Me and Ralphie are a mess from wallowing in the floor. So we're going to go in and catch us some Jeopardy and eat a Vanya. Maybe crack RC Cola open. We'll come back out here and tackle the rest of this tomorrow. Get up, get up, get up. Oh, take your bed. Yeah. We're in our second day of coverage on will Ralphie get this fender cleaned up. He's got some super clean degreaser on it now. He's cleaning up this fender, but I'm gonna get back on this. I guess I'm gonna put the air boxes on now and put our new to us side covers on to really complete the look. So here's our air filters. I believe they've been worked on a little bit, but they appear to be still usable in working condition. So we're gonna slip these guys back on here. You know, they're supposed to run better with the air cleaners on there. I guess that affects how the carburetor fuels a little bit, so maybe it'll run a little bit better with these on here. If you remember our last video, this rod that holds these breathers on is very bent, so we're gonna have to get this thing in the vise and straighten it out real quick. There we go. That thing is gonna be mirror finished when you get done.
Yeah, I know.
See, it's like it's not.
What's this stuff in?
Looks like it's not wide enough. We're having trouble getting this to fit back together. I think we're gonna have to reach up under here, and I think our little tube that goes between the air cleaners, it's not in the hole correctly. But then we're so tight here. I don't know. Is this for a CB? Like, I bought it and it was supposed to be for a CL. I made for sure it was for a CL. I saw pictures of them that looked like this is the side cover they had. I'm almost afraid that it's not going to fit in here with the exhaust, but I think I'm going to have to pull the pipes back off of it again and to have any chance of getting this side cover back on there. Can we get some threads? Yeah, that was our deal, was we just weren't on that crossover tube. The metal had not slid into the rubber part of the crossover tube correctly.
I'm gonna have to hold the tube.
It's spinning right there?
Yeah.
So now, the big question is, will this side cover fit with this exhaust system? I'm worried that it's not going to after I bought these. I was just gonna buy one side cover and then buy these emblems as a replacement item, and buying the emblems was the same price as buying these two side covers used with the emblems on it. So that's why I did this. That fits, but doesn't fit with the exhaust. It's not looking good, is it?
No.
It's already touching it.
Well, is it all the way right here? Where it snaps in?
That's gonna melt that for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing for a temporary fix is I put 3 nuts behind there, 3/8 nuts, and we're going to space this exhaust out just enough for it to clear. Hopefully it doesn't injure the exhaust or mess up anything, but until we can figure out what's the correct side cover and get it coming. I'm gonna put some soapy water on these grommets, the side cover, just to help get in there a little easier. Try not to break this 100-year-old plastic. There we go. Well, I like how that looks, even though this is not the color I intend on painting this bike when we get that far. Ralphie thinks I should paint it red though.
Yeah, I think it'll look better.
Better red?
Well, it might look like the lights and stuff.
We'll see what we do, but I think we're done here. That gave us a little bit of a gap there. Hopefully it's enough to not melt the side cover. And hopefully it's not gonna mess up our beautiful pops. But I think we gotta get it out now and clean this thing up. After I got a money 4-wheel on that thing trying to get out of the shop. Let me give you a close-up on how nasty some of this stuff is on here. We're gonna have to get the toothbrushes out, ain't we, to get this thing clean, Ralphie, don't you think? How dirty our pipes are. All the mud we got on it. She hasn't been clean in a while, for sure. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do much with this side cover. We're gonna try our best. A friend of mine told me to use WD-40 and steel wool, so we're gonna give it a try. That new tread really caught it, didn't it? I think this is going to make a huge difference. We got our 4/0 super fine steel wool. Oh yeah, look at that. Steel wool does a great job cleaning up chrome stuff. We're doubling up now. Ralphie's on one side, I'm on the other. We'll get it cleaned up in no time. It's not really like it's all rust. It's like some sort of, I don't know, gummy, oily, gluey stuff, isn't it?
That's what it feels like.
It's like a oily mess is what it is. Ralphie lost interest in it before I did. He was over there he gave up on it at some point. But man, there's a lot to clean for just a little motorcycle wheel like this. Man, this thing was dirtier than a music festival porta potty. Okay, now we just gotta do the same thing to the back wheel.
I ain't doing it.
Oh yeah, look at that. Taking it right off there. Man, there are so many spokes in there. I mean, we didn't get it perfect because this is going to be a rider. It's not going to be no show bike, but we got a whole lot better. Those wheels had not been cleaned in a long time. Well, it got so cold and dark out there and actually started snowing, surprisingly, for here in Tennessee. We've had to move our efforts indoors. So we're going to get started on this exhaust system, which from what I understand is like the most valuable thing on the bike, and see if we can get some of this rust off here. That's what she looks like beforehand. A lot of rust on there. It's got a broke off bolt there. We'll have to fix at some point. Man, don't you just love this? How cool is that? Well, let's see how this does. Well, it's taking some of that staining off there, but it's not, definitely not getting everything off there. Some of it looks like it's baked on goodness. Okay, so here's the exhaust after we cleaned it up. It didn't clean up as nice as I was hoping. Looks like the bikes went through some barbed wire and this side's got dropped on the pavement probably. But all this back through here, it turned out pretty good. We got a little bit of road rash right here. But I just love these mufflers now. Cleaned out the rear fender some. It's pretty beat. May have to replace it at some point. But anyway, one problem we've had with this bike is the other fender had been beat up and flattened out because it was hitting the, it doesn't really do it unless you put your weight on it, but it'll hit the exhaust pipe there. So one of you guys in the last video said that this has been slid up. So we're gonna try to slide that down and see if it'll fix our issue down here. Well, that definitely helped us. It's still really close. Maybe one of you guys know, do I need new shock seals? Is that the issue? Is it just because the shocks need to be rebuilt? But they got springs in them, so you'd think that would be what holds it up. I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think, Ralphie?
I don't know.
You probably noticed we had to switch to the winter flops to come out here because, you know, my little piggies, they was freezing off. At least he has socks on. Scooty, we had to carry him out here. He will not come in the shop unless you carry him. He's so scared. Ellie, she's just crazy, but Scooty will not come out here unless you carry him out. He's a sweet dog, but he's scared of everything. I honestly feel like there's no hope for this without, I don't know, bead blasting it or painting it or something. Really wouldn't want to paint it, but a buddy of mine that's into motorcycles said try steel wool and WD-40. So I'm going to trust that maybe he knows something I don't know. So let's try that. Well, it definitely made it look better. I mean, obviously we have color distortion here from corrosion, but it definitely cleaned it up quite a bit. You know, this is going to be a rider, like I said anyway, so I'm not super worried about it, but it looks like Mr. David was right about cleaning that up. All right. You clean it back here, Ralphie?
Yeah.
So that cleaned up pretty good too. So the WD-40 and steel wool seems to definitely work. I love how the exhaust is looking. Seat cleaned up nice. Side covers are cleaned up all right. This one's got a little bit of a burn place in it, but yeah, it's looking good. I'm really excited about this thing. I think I'm gonna go ahead now and see if there's anything else I can do to get this off here. It looks like somebody's either painted or put a sticker on it, something like that. I hit it with steel wool earlier, but we might have to try something a little rougher. Well, I think we got it as clean as we're gonna get it. It actually cleaned up pretty nice. Some stuff I was surprised how well it cleaned up. Some stuff didn't clean up as good as I thought it would. I really didn't realize it had as many scratches as it does in the exhaust, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I wish we could have finished this video outside. That would be preferable, and you know, like let Ralphie ride it going down the highway, right? That would have been nice as well. But can't really ride this thing out here in the snow, but well, we've had to pass the flops on to Ralphie today because I have my fishy flops on. But we're gonna have more videos of this bike. Probably next thing we're gonna do is do the body work to the tank, side covers, headlight, all that stuff, and paint it. That's probably the next video you'll see of this bike. Really excited about getting the new casings on here from Coker. That's awesome. Really like how it shined up. I'm really excited about getting this bike out when the weather warms up and getting it out on the highway. Me and Ralphie may make a trip to the parts store or something. Pour one out for your homies, guys. If you haven't already, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at SleeperDude88. And also we have a second channel, SleeperDude2, the number 2. Check us out on there as well. Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Recently we noticed that 86% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So it'd be great if you'd subscribe if you want to. That way you get notifications every time we post a video. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Ralphie appreciates it. Rocky even appreciates it. If you look below the video, you can buy merchandise like this hoodie or t-shirt. Or if you click on my username, then click on the store button, you can buy merchandise. Or you can click on the playlist button, which will show you all my videos, all organized out by individual projects. So you might find something there you like. Tell them bye, Rocky. We're at the end of the video. Tell them, say, eat your vainas. See you later. He loves his barbecue vainas.